Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, world stock markets are all at all-time highs. And some people are warning about this massive correction and this multi-year bear market. Today, I'm going to show you why markets actually can't crash. And I'm going to show you that if markets actually can't crash, we may be in for a massive multi-year super cycle. And if we're in for a multi-year super cycle, then we need to know what we're going to be buying. Today is going to be a huge show. So stay tuned. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Welcome to the most profitable crypto community in the entire world. Fred, you keep putting that slide up when I'm talking. It's quite distracting, bro. So welcome to Crypto Banter. Welcome to the most profitable community in the whole interwebs. And people are telling me that we are 9,000 subscribers away. Let's see. People are telling me we're 9,000 subscribers away from giving away all the banter bags, right? Yes, we got, what, 2 more banter bags to give away. We gave away a banter bags earlier. Ooh, that was quite emotional. Quite emotional, eh, Freddie? Let's have a look here. Let's see how we're doing in terms of subscribers. It's getting there. It's getting there. Guys, will you still watch this channel when there's no more banter bags? I mean, I'm starting to worry that when the banter bags are finished, people here won't watch anymore. Let's have a look here. We're on 242,072 subscribers. Let's have a look here. Share the screen. Bang, bang. So 242,072 subscribers. That means that in 7,938 people, 28 people, we will be giving away the 2 more banter bags. So if you're new to our channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the most profitable community in the entire crypto universe. I'm Crypto Man Run. I come to you twice a day, every day, and sometimes more than that. And I bring you crypto love and crypto wisdom. And basically, we give you the best of fundamentals and the best of technicals. And we give this to you, get this, for free, every day, for free. Fundamentals, technicals. You will never get a masterclass like this for free. So if you're new to our channel, welcome, subscribe. Also, you can win the banter bags, like we said. What are the banter bags? Hopefully, this is like the last time I have to say, but we took $10,000, invested in pre-market allocations. Fred, this is the part of the video. Yeah. So again, we took $10,000, we invested it in pre-market allocations, and those pre-market allocations started to come to market. And today, those banter bags are worth over 500,000 US dollars. Yeah, guys, you heard correctly. Over 500,000 US dollars. And we have been giving them away, and now 2 more banter bags to give away. So we basically got to give it away today or tomorrow. On this show or on tomorrow's shows, we have to give away the banter bags. Speaking of banter bags, one of the tokens we got in the banter bags was DeFi. DeFi is a cross-chain DEX which lives natively on Ethereum layer 2 or on Matic, on Polygon. And it is launching now. Freddie, is it launched? Let's have a look here. Let's actually see if DeFi is launched. Let's have a look here. I wonder if it's launched. I wonder if it's launched. I don't think it's launched yet, but let's have a look. DeFi. Is there liquidity? Has the token launched? Oh, the token is trading at $3.28. $3.28. No, sorry. That's the wrong one. Okay, what we'll do is we'll check for you in a bit if DeFi is launched. If DeFi hasn't launched, wait for the dip. Because usually you know what happens. These bots come in and they trade the asset. I think that DeFi is one of those that you must get your hands on tonight. I keep saying to you why. If you believe in ETH Layer 2, and I'm a big, big, big supporter of ETH Layer 2, I think ETH Layer 2 should be as big as a blockchain itself, as a big ecosystem itself. It needs to have DEXs, and it needs to have all the infrastructure around it. And QuickSwap and DeFi are the 2 DEXs that I know. And DeFi is a cross-chain DEX, which means that you can trade assets across chain. So for me, one that you have to get your hands onto. You know what else you have to get your hands onto? You have to get your hands onto a donkey profile pic. I don't know if you guys saw, but if you didn't see, let's quickly have a look here. I am giving away 100 donkey at random to anyone who's got a donkey profile pic. And that is because this week is the launch of donkey. Donkey is one of the tokens that here on the channel, we are super, super, super excited about. Why? Because it is one-touch farming. So when people talk about yield farming, you can now follow the best yield farmers in the world. And yield farming is tough, guys. I mean, it's a full-time job, and you have to understand the smart contracts, and you have to understand how to make the yield. And Donkey is coming to market on Superstarter this week, which is, I mean, for me, this is huge. For me, this is a massive, massive, massive one. So to celebrate the launch of Donkey, change your profile picture. I've left a whole lot of profile pictures here, and I'm going to just randomly give away Donkey profile pics to people who have Donkey profile pics. Let's look at you. Okay, you have Luke Butler. You have yourself 100 Donkey. Let's quickly retweet that and say, Luke, you have 100 Donkey. And let's see who else. Fred, help me choose here, bro. It's basically lying on a sun lounger. Let's have a look here. Who else is going to win? Donkey. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, we got Will 8490421. You get yourself 100 Donkey. I'm going to give away Donkey the whole show. I mean, literally the whole show. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to give away Donkey. So that is the... Dama says you're always giving. I know, I just give and give and give and give and give. I gave away the banter bags. I gave it to a charity. I gave it to, we did as a collective, as a community. Those were our banter bags. Okay, what else this week? This week is full of new launches, and it's full of good new launches that we need to be cognizant of. So we said that Donkey's coming to market this week, by far the most exciting one. There are two other projects that are coming to market this week that we need to be speaking about. The first one is ColdStack, and we're going to do a full feature on ColdStack tomorrow. That's coming online to Superstarter. And then there is Argo. Argo is an app which allows more people to be able to use the Arweave network, and we're going to get them on the show tomorrow as well. So remember, there's this whole narrative. Crypto is all about narrative, and there's this whole narrative around Web3. Now, essentially what Web3 means is decentralizing the entire web. If you want to decentralize the entire web, you need certain components to be decentralized. The first one is decentralized file storage. And you've got a whole lot of decentralized file storage players. You've got them Sia, Sicoin, Filecoin, and even Arweave to a certain extent. You also then need decentralized computing power. And for that, you have things like Akash network. And you have things like EOS, which decentralize computing power, which means that computing power and storage is not available on mass. Now, a lot of you are asking me, why do we care if storage is decentralized? It's very simple. If we are going to have a revolution where everything gets decentralized and we move the power away from people like Google and Amazon and Alibaba, then we need to have decentralized file storage. Right now, they mine your files for data. But I mean, you store your files on Amazon and they mine your files for data. And at the same time, if they don't want your files on there because they deem the content to be, I don't know, misappropriate, inappropriate, whatever you call it, they will remove it. And they won't even tell you, and it just simply won't exist. So we need decentralized file storage. And we need decentralized computing power. And this week, tomorrow, we're going to talk about two new apps. We're going to talk about ColdStack and Argo, both which enable decentralized computing power and decentralized file storage. And we're going to talk about Akash, because Akash is also one of the hidden gems in this market that no one's talking about. It's like, why isn't anyone talking about Akash? Akash is probably one of the most important plays in this ecosystem. And I know that my friend Elio agrees. So guys, big weeks. Fred, is that video up for Neil's date? Okay, so Fred's going to check, but you know, one of our producers here, a guy called Neil, he has a girl that said you'd only go on a date with him if we play the video. So we have a video. Do we have a video? Okay, it'll be here soon. Okay, it'll be here soon. So soon, Neil, don't worry, buddy. We got your back. We will get you. We will get you your date. Don't worry. We'll make sure as a community that we get your date. You have a Dogecoin? So let's talk about Dogecoin. I mean, let's get the elephant out of the room. We spoke about Dogecoin before Friday, and I said to you that there's a small chance that Doge can work. And the reason why I think it's a very small chance, in fact, hold on a second, Sunny's not right here. I don't think there are enough likes. And you know, if there are no likes, then we just have to stop. Just stop the show. Imagine we just stop the show. No more show. 10,400 people watching, 6,700 likes. That is, guys, that's just crazy. Smash that like button. Let's carry on with the show. But this time, let's do it with lots of likes. Come on, guys. Wow, you got it right, man. You got it right. Let's get this done. Okay, so Doge disappointed. Elon disappointed. And I'm not the only one who's disappointed with Elon. I mean, all these guys who bought Doge, They genuinely believe that Elon Musk would go up there and just shill, pump their bags. Fred, did he actually do it? Saturday Night Live was a bit of a disappointment. I mean, what about the Dogecoin? I'm still in, huge loss. Please pump it. And that's replying to Elon Musk. Let's see some more, Freddie. Put up some more. Okay, thanks, Robinhood. And that's Robinhood not executing. So you got a whole lot of very, very, very salty people because Dogecoin didn't pump like it was supposed to pump. And a lot of people made money. I mean, I made some money shorting it. Barry Silbert made some money shorting it. It was kind of obvious because in this industry, you buy the rumor and you sell the news. And that's exactly what happened. People bought the rumor that Doge was going to get pumped on Saturday Night Live. And when they realized that Doge actually wasn't pumped, or that there was a possibility of Doge not being pumped, they sold it. And they sold the news. And so we had Dogecoin running. Let me actually call up the chart for you guys. Okay, so you have Doge. And Dogecoin is still, I mean, guys, we can't lose perspective here. Dogecoin is still absolutely, absolutely overpriced. It's still got a market cap of $63 billion. I called this as a short in around the 60 cents, and I shorted it myself. If you watch my Twitter account, you would have seen me shorting it, or you would have seen that I loaded up for the short. I didn't actually post the short because you guys keep front running me. So I had to make sure you guys weren't going to front run me. But there's a lot of downside here in Doge. And the problem with this downside here in Doge is that if Doge collapses, it could take the market cap down very, very quickly by large amounts of money. So guys, watch out for Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a threat. If Dogecoin collapses very quickly, it could bring the crypto market crashing with it, or certainly correcting with it. And that's what we should be worried about. All right, let's carry on. So we got Dogecoin out the way. You finished with your Dogecoin nonsense. He says he got 2 more tweets. Okay, show me the 2 more tweets while I take my sweater off. Okay, I was thinking about buying a car for myself and I didn't have enough money, but I trusted you to get into Dogecoin. And that's again somebody replying to poor Elon Musk, who obviously didn't do such a good job pumping Dogecoin this weekend. Yeah, okay. Enough, please, enough Dogecoin. Let's get on with some real coins. Let's talk about real coins. Can we talk about real coins, guys? Fred, can we talk about real coins? Let's talk about the big story of the day. What's the big story of the day? I said to you guys that the way I see it, markets can't crash. Yeah, I said it. Fred, put up the towel. That's the part where you put up the towel. So like the way I see it, markets cannot crash. Now, you must be thinking to yourself, how is it that Run, who is so conservative and keeps telling us that markets are going to crash, and has a cashometer? By the way, do you have the cashometer? So the cashometer today, 25%. 25% of all my crypto money is now in cash, because I'm expecting a slight correction. And Sheldon's going to come on in a second and talk to us about why we're going to get a slight correction. In fact, let's get Sheldon on now. Sheldon, how are you, sir? Sheldon, we can't hear you. I think you're muted.
There we go. I don't know why. Sometimes it like automatically mutes. Very weird. What's up, buddy? I'm good.
All good, brother. Okay, so we spoke earlier about the fact that there could be a little crypto correction, and then I came out and said markets cannot crash. There's a big difference between a crash and a correction. Okay, a crash is when the markets crash and we enter a multi-year bear market. And I'm going to tell you today why I don't think that's going to be the case for a long, long, long time. And then there's a correction, and we're going to get many, many, many corrections as we go along in the crypto market. So we are actually expecting a slight correction now, which is why my cashometer is sitting at about 25%. And the reason why that's happening is because the markets are running too fast. And Sheldon's going to show you what we mean by the markets running too fast, specifically on Ethereum, and then what's happening on the Bitcoin dominance charts.
No, awesome, buddy. Yeah. So exactly what's happening, and exactly as you just said now, it's just Ethereum has just gotten to that point where, gradual growth is good, but we are starting to hit some really, really strong growth. Having a look at Ethereum's last week or so from the 25th, so you can have a look there. You can see the last 10 days has been absolutely insane from what's actually happened. Now, in a usual impulse wave pump up like this, we are going to have a decent retracement at times. It is healthy. The problem is with Ethereum, it's starting to get to that point where it's growing too quickly, which means you do get these quick correction waves that come very fast out of nowhere. and it is needed at times as well to continue. Remember, people are always going to take profit. They need to also, because now the retail are basically riding this wave at the moment. The whales are in, everyone is in, and they obviously want to stock up more, but they will never pay these sort of prices. So they're always going to bring a bit of fear in the market at specific times. And this was just a bit too quick for my liking, but it is painting out our roadmap perfectly on where we're sitting in the actual market to say that, yes, Bitcoin rallied, Ethereum's now rallied. It's time to now diversify a bit more into the rest of the alts now, the rest of the major alts. And the only way you're going to get that is from a correction wave, which just shocks the market a little bit so that we can have a bit of a shift in momentum.
So we said earlier that the two reasons why we thought there might be a correction is, one is you look at the ETH chart. ETH has grown up in market cap, added $200 billion in market cap to the crypto market, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That ETH was starting to be a little bit short-term overvalued, not long-term overvalued. We'll talk about long-term overvalued. In fact, I'm going to talk to you today about why I think that ETH is going to flip in Bitcoin. I'm going to show you guys why I think ETH is going to flip in Bitcoin. Go back to the Bitcoin dominance. Look at that. Okay, we know when a chart does that. What are we expecting, Sheldon?
Yeah. So the exact same way we just saw Ethereum moving upwards is the same way down. Whenever we have a strong impulse down, there is always going to be a correction wave. And the difference is the quicker we move in one direction and the longer we move, it's the quicker we're going to get a reaction at a specific point. So what I mean by that is we're actually going to have a violent bounce from the dominance at some point, and which makes sense because if you correlate it to where we're sitting with the Bitcoin to Ethereum pair, well, Ethereum to Bitcoin pair, is this has been massive growth in the last 2-3 weeks, and at some point we are going to have a decent correction, and now that's sort of gives us the understanding that that's where the bounce from the dominance is now going to be coming upwards. So we are still in that way to know that if anything happens to Bitcoin, either if it pumps dramatically, which it might do, I got a feeling it is, we then will have the shift in dominance, or if there's also a strong pullback from Bitcoin, we'll also have the shift in dominance. So it means that if we do have a little bit of a dump from Bitcoin, the alts are going to get eaten quite a bit. They are going to be the ones that get affected a bit more, lose more value on the day. But then we do know the bounces, the altcoins obviously bounce out a lot quicker. The only difference is now Ethereum's getting to that point where it needs to calm down a little bit. When it moves too quickly, it's a bit scary because that's when we have a really big reaction. Let's just see if we can get here. Yeah, there we go. So you can see, so from a big impulse, you do have these strong points downwards. And same as the previous waves over here, you see these big wicks that just come down very, very quickly. This is the sort of reactions that we start to get when we are moving too quickly. And it's needed because once we got that, we can then make the next momentum move upwards. So I still think Ethereum big term is huge, right? And it's still going to, I believe 100% we're going to flip Bitcoin. I'm with you on that 100%. It's just to understand the market cycle, it is time for it to cool down a little bit, and it's time to start diversifying the money a bit in the market. Mustn't grow too quick.
Okay, fair enough. Sheldon, do you believe me if I tell you that there's never going to be another market no, not never. Never is a long time away. But certainly in the short term, there's not going to be another market crash. Do you believe me?
Yeah, not a big one. I believe in corrections, market corrections, not a market crash. No.
Okay, so let me talk about it, and I'll bring you back on the stream in a second. So, guys, I said there's not going to be another market correction for a long time. In fact, sorry, a market crash. There are going to be market corrections. The market's going to correct naturally. Every time the market gets overheated, it's going to come back. And right now, the market is overheated, and it'll probably have a 10 or 20% correction every now and then, and probably pretty soon. And that's why today my cash meter is on 25. No, there we go, 25%. So in the short term, I think there are going to be multiple market corrections. But I think that there is not going to be a market crash for a long time. And specifically, I don't think we're going to get another 2 to 3 year crypto bear winter for many years. And let me tell you why. So the US is printing money at an unbelievable rate. We've never seen money printing like this ever before in our lives. And the reason why the government is doing this is because of COVID and the lockdowns. They have no other choice but to print money. Because on the back of the worst economy in the world, the markets are at all-time highs. And the reason why it's happening is because the government is printing stimulus money to keep the economy floating. Why is the government doing this? Because it is the last tool that governments have in their armor. The last thing that the governments have now is the ability to print money. And they're going to keep printing and printing and printing and printing and printing money until they need to, until they get control of the economy again. The only thing is that I don't think they're ever going to get control of their monetary economy ever again. Let me tell you why I am so convinced of this. Last week, I kept saying to you that the US is hiding the worst economy ever in history, where most businesses have shut down or are shutting down or lost their revenue for a year. And they're hiding this by giving you and I the perception that the market's at all-time highs. And the reason why it looks like that is because the stock market is at all-time highs. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but if you look at the stock market today, let's look at the Dow Jones today. The Dow Jones today is at another all-time high, which means that theoretically what the governments are saying to us is that the US economy is the best that it's ever been. The market's at an all-time high. Garbage. The reason why the market's at an all-time high is because the US is printing money at an alarming rate. Fred, call up that chart again. On the back of this, they are telling us that inflation is only 2 or 2.5%. You believe that? Rubbish. They are pumping so much money, and that money is landing up in the stock markets. And the stock markets and other scarce assets don't count in the inflation basket. What does live in the inflation basket? Basic goods and commodities. Maize, oil, flour, the basic things that basic people need to be eating. But all those industries can be subsidized by governments. So what they'll end up doing is subsidizing maize, wheat, flour, oil, bread, and therefore getting a 2% inflation, when at the same time the stock markets are at all-time high against the back of the worst economy in US history. But the markets are catching on. The markets are catching on to exactly what the US government is doing. And if you look at today, what the US government, if you look at last week, what happened? Every Thursday, the jobs report comes out. And that jobs report shows us how many Americans got jobs. And everybody's expecting, since the economy is so good and starting up again, everybody's expecting the jobs number to go to all-time highs, or certainly the people to be returning to work, all the people that were laid off during COVID. And so what happened last week was a big telltale sign that the US may be in much, much, much bigger problems than they're now letting us know. The first thing is Janet Yellen came out and said she is expecting inflation. And it was the first time in a long time that anybody in the US ever used the word inflation and mentioned an increase in interest rates. She obviously got reprimanded and took everything back. But then something happened. The jobs numbers came out. And whereas most people expected over 1 million people to go back to work, look what happened.
Nothing takes the Fed out of the equation like a weak employment number. And today we got the weakest one relative to expectations that I can ever recall. A miss of 744,000 jobs. That's right. The experts predicted we'd create 1 million jobs in April. Instead, we got 266,000. I would fire every expert. All right, now you think that would be bad news, right? I mean, much miss in terms of how few jobs were created. Wrong. For the stock market is great news, which is why the Dow gained 229 points, S&P climbed 0.74%, both all-time highs. NASDAQ jumped 0.88%. Even the NASDAQ was up.
So how do you explain that the stock markets did this? I mean, if you look at it, it's this day over here. That's the day when the market expectations were missed. That's the biggest green candle. How do you explain the fact that on the day when the markets missed the biggest jobs number in history, showing you that the economy is the worst that it's ever been, how do you explain that the markets went up? Let me tell you. It's quite simple. The more the economy is weak, the weaker the economy, the more people know that the US is going to print more money to stimulate. And that just sends the prices up and up and up and up and up. That's exactly what's going on. Even though we're not seeing inflation in the markets, we are seeing inflation everywhere else. Look at, for example, lumber futures. Let's look at lumber. Lumber is wood, right? Let's look at lumber futures. The price of lumber has doubled or tripled since January this year. Do you want to tell me that's not inflation? Has the technology changed? Are more people adopting fucking lumber? I mean, Jesus, can you not see what's going on? Okay, let me tell you another thing. Warren Buffett, the guy that says he doesn't believe in Bitcoin, and he's a great investor, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't beaten the NASDAQ return in 10 years. Guess what? Freddie, call up that share price of Warren Buffett. Their share price is getting to 429,496, which is the highest share price that is actually allowed on the markets, on the NASDAQ. Now, they're going to have to split their share. Is that because their company is getting any better? No, it's because the US dollar is a fucking shitcoin. Okay, that's what's going on. The US dollar is devaluing and devaluing and devaluing and devaluing. And now, because we saw last week that the jobs numbers were missed and the markets went up, what it's telling you is that the market now knows that no matter what happens, the central banks only have one thing that they can do, and that is print more money. And if they don't, the whole economy is going to collapse. And if the whole economy collapses, so does the whole government system collapse. And that's why, in my mind, I think that for the next couple of years, there cannot be a market correction. The government will just have to print and print and print more money. And if it does happen, then I think we're in for a much, much, much bigger problem than a government, than a stock market correction. Because I've said to you guys that if the stock market corrects, obviously crypto is going to go with it. And that brings me to my next point. So a lot of people say, okay, but if the stock market corrects, if the stock market doesn't correct, surely we can get a crypto correction. Can't we get a crypto correction and another 3-year bear market? I mean, is that possible? I don't think so. I think that crypto now works in the same cycles as the rest of the world's stock markets. And that for as long as the world economy is being inflated, crypto gets inflated with it. If the crypto market collapses, if the stock market collapses, then the crypto markets will also collapse. And so the markets will start moving like this. Why do I say that? Because there is a typical adoption cycle when it comes to technology. And that's called the Gartner cycle. And that's what the Gartner cycle looks like. Now, what you can see is that all technology follows the same adoption cycle. First, there is an inflated expectation point, and then it collapses beyond that. So if you look at that first hump, in that first hump is when people have unrealistic expectations for what the technology can do at that present moment. So think about Amazon in the 1990s and Pets.com in the 1990s. Those prices ran a hell of a lot. And then they maybe ran too far for what the technology could have produced at the time. And I remember very clearly the day that Pets.com listed and had this huge market cap, where at the time the internet hardly even worked. And so the markets collapsed. The NASDAQ collapsed. And that is exactly what happened. In fact, let me show you what happened to the NASDAQ. So this is a chart of the NASDAQ. In the 1990s, it went all the way up because at this point, everybody thought that the internet was going to be the business. And then it collapsed. Kind of like crypto. If you look at this chart and you compare it to the crypto life cycle chart, that is exactly what happened. Now, did we get any other significant long-term crashes along the way? Yes, we got one. That's the one over there. That's the 2008 housing market collapse, where every single market around the world collapsed because the US housing market and the lending market collapsed. And that's what happened. And so what I think is going to happen with crypto now is I don't think that we're ever going to get a crypto correction that will last another 3 years. We'll never get another 2017, 2018, 2019 ever again. Those days are absolutely gone. And Fred's telling me, get off the Wi-Fi. Okay, so I'm going to get off the Wi-Fi. Fred. Okay, I'm back. And I'm off the Wi-Fi now. So now my lips and my mouth are working the same. So I don't think we'll ever get another multi-year crypto correction again. I think that crypto is now going to start following the markets. And I think that for as long as the US government keeps printing US dollars and inflating the market at all costs because they have to, then markets won't crash. And crypto markets won't crash. And if crypto markets won't crash, then that means that Bitcoin is in for a multi-year super cycle. And if Bitcoin is in for a multi-year super cycle, then altcoins are in for a multi-year super cycle. And if altcoins are in for a multi-year super cycle, then you need to know which altcoins to buy. And for that, I'm going to bring in the sniper. Sniper.
What's up, buddy?
Remember we spoke about altcoins and we spoke about diversifying out of Ethereum, and we said you should be diversifying out of Ethereum into Cardano, and Cardano had a massive run, and we're going to talk about that massive run in a second. And then we said you should also diversify into Litecoin. Remember
100%.
that?
Yeah.
Diversify into Litecoin.
Just because of the actual understanding that Litecoin hasn't actually done anything for the last, we may have seen to the shitcoin pair, the USDT pair, but when it comes to the real currencies and where we've been sitting with the real currencies, we've actually been doing nothing. And, you know, the biggest one that I could see was obviously having a look at Litecoin to the Ethereum pair. It just shows you that Ethereum, and you remember the market cycle we kept putting in, Bitcoin first, Ethereum, and then obviously the major alts. And all the charts are showing me the same thing, that we are going to have a little correction in the market, or something's just going to turn it for now. But after that, we're going to have Ethereum start diversifying into a lot of these major alts, a lot of the bigger alts. And we can see that clearly how we finally started to slow down to the Ethereum pair to Litecoin. And it just shows us the massive potential to the upward side. And Litecoin actually has done nothing. Because why? Because it's done nothing to the major pairs that we actually wanted to, not USDT, to Ethereum and Bitcoin. And just having a look at, you know, the whole market showing me that, yes, to the USDT will have a small correction, but once that correction is done and we get the next bounce after the next little pullback in the market, it's going to be diversified again. Remember the understanding with Bitcoin, it went to 65, it fell to 50, and then only Ethereum was triggered. And it was Ethereum's time to now get going. And we're going to need something that they're not just going to change the market now. They need something to shock the market a bit in order for us to shift. So Litecoin is looking brilliant, and it's looking, you know, the fact that we've just to the USDT broken all-time highs. You know, the hype is only just about to start with Litecoin. It's done absolutely nothing for years now.
I don't know. I mean, remember I said to you, like, I can't reconcile the technicals and the fundamentals. The technicals are telling you this thing's going to fucking explode, and I just don't get the fundamentals. So I'm bringing a friend of mine who is, well, first I'm going to share his story. Let me share his story with you. Sheldon, you need to stay on for this one.
I'm the first ever to buy a Lamborghini with Litecoin. I sold everything 4 years ago, my house, my business. I got in my truck and I left to promote Litecoin, to push for adoption of Litecoin. Everybody said I was crazy. 12 seconds. You know, this is a Ponzi, it's a virtual nerd, you know, internet money. Don't do that. Because I'm an all-in, all-out type of guy. Do your own research. Take some time to learn why Bitcoin, why we need Bitcoin and Litecoin, and then jump in a little bit, you know, test the waters a little bit, and don't invest money that you cannot afford to lose.
Wow. Okay, so that is my friend, John. I mean, hey, man.
What's up, my people?
What's up, buddy?
Of course.
What's up?
Look at him flexing his muscles now that the Litecoin price is where it is. Okay, so here is the debate that we have on our show all the time. Sheldon is our chartist. Sheldon says that Litecoin is about to explode. And when he says explode, he means like a real explosion. He means like a monster explosion. I am more a fundamentals man. And I'm kind of looking at this and going, why, from a fundamental point of view, what does Litecoin bring that you can't get somewhere else in the market and get it better? Let me tell you what I mean. If you want a store of value, you got Bitcoin. And the way I see it, you don't need a silver and a gold. You need a gold, and everyone can just store their value in a gold. Okay, cool. Then, if you need a payments mechanism, even though I really appreciate that Litecoin is much faster than Bitcoin and has blocks 4 blocks every 10 minutes and, there are better payments platforms, like, for example, Luna, where you can do very, very fast payments in like 1 second and almost free. But there must be something that I'm missing, because I can't be the only one who's right. They can't all be wrong. You can't be wrong. Tell me what I'm missing, bro.
All right, so let me start with this. Your chart guy knows one thing. When a Litecoin versus Ethereum and Litecoin versus Bitcoin chart looks like that, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that the upside is going to rip heads, melt faces, whatever you want to talk about. Same thing happened in 2017. Bitcoin exploded, Ethereum exploded, Litecoin chilled. Guess what? At the end of the year, Litecoin went up 10,000% to beat Bitcoin and Ethereum in percentage gains. Look, I have a podcast called Funky Crypto Podcast. I do it with Ben Askren of the UFC and Jason Going Parabolic, okay, on Twitter. I am not playing. I've been saying this for over a year now. In 2021, Litecoin is going to start off the gate very slow, let everybody run, and then shock the world like it did in 2017, okay? Now, that's backed up by the charts. Now, I'm going to back this up with fundamentals, okay?
That's why I called you. That's why I called you.
Okay, so, guys, listen. I call Litecoin the Toyota of all blockchains. Why? It has zero downtime since its inception, 2011. Guys, listen. In the world that we're living in, people don't appreciate reliability. They want fast, flashy, okay? Since its inception, Litecoin has never been down. Not even Bitcoin can't say it. It started 2 blocks back. Ethereum had the DAO hack. Now, I just purchased a Lambo, 100% Litecoin. I went to the dealer. I convinced him to take Litecoin. You know how much the fees were on a $320,000 transaction? I don't even know how to say this. It was 0.0000137 Litecoin. You know how much that is? A fraction.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
A fraction of a penny. No, I don't even know how to say it. Is it 100th of a penny, 1,000th of a penny? I don't know. Okay. Now, this is why I'm so bullish. Okay. Zero downtime is something you can't buy, you can't develop. Okay. And time tested, 10 years, almost 10 years in the top 10. Okay. Did you know this fact? Of all coins, Bitcoin and Litecoin has the longest weeks on the top 10. Okay. Now, you said Luna's fast, XRP's fast. Okay. Let me break that down.
I didn't say anything about XRP.
Forget XRP. Forget it.
That's another guy. Yeah.
Okay. So let me break that down. I don't care about speed if you don't have the security. Litecoin is 98% dominant in script algorithm. It is the king of script, and Bitcoin is king of SHA-256. Now, you tell me you want fundamentals, I'm going to give you 98% dominance in script as fundamentals and a zero downtime. At the end of the day, okay, check this out, Ron, you ready? There's a commercial, Toyota commercial, okay? There's a hot girl on the side of the road. She has her hood up. She's asking for help. A father and a son is driving by, and son's like, Dad, let's go help. He says, no, go. And you know what the tagline is? Have you ever seen a Toyota on the side of the road? and then she turns into a devil, like a monster, right? What am I saying? Have you ever seen Litecoin down? Never.
Never.
Never. And that is the most valuable shit that you can bring to the blockchain space when everybody's promising the world, but Litecoin continues to perform. And guess what? There's only one sound money in all of cryptocurrency. It's Litecoin. Do you know why? Bitcoin and Litecoin missing one thing, fungibility. Because of Mimblewimble with extension blocks, now Litecoin is complete as sound money as promised by Charlie Lee. And I'm gonna say one more thing, right? I got beef with you because you tweeted yesterday $400 Litecoin was the same price that Charlie Lee sold. Wrong. His average price was $205, and his ultimate motive, okay, I'm sure money was part of it. His ultimate motive was to make Litecoin more decentralized, and get himself out of the role of holding a lot of coins. Okay. Now he doesn't have any Litecoin. He sold an average 205. Now people are gonna say Charlie's such a dumbass, and he's from MIT. Okay, they're gonna say he's such a dumbass because he sold at $205. You can't win in this space. Okay, I bought a Lambo 360. People telling me like, "Oh, you're so dumb. You could have bought it at 400." Listen, mofo. The big story is that I said I did not wait for BitPay, and I was not willing to just wait around. I went to the dealership. I said, "Listen, I want the orange Lambo. I got to wait till 360 Litecoin because that's what I promised to my community on Twitter." Okay, and I'm gonna drive down there, and I'm gonna help you sell it on Coinbase. Okay, everything's gonna work out. Trust me. He said, "Okay, man," and I did it. Okay, so the big story is this: the world keeps telling me I need to abide by the bank rules, the credit rules, everything. I said, no. Guess what? I'm gonna go get this Lambo the way that I said I'm gonna get this Lambo, and I'm gonna tweet it out to tell the people, stop talking crap. You guys are just talking, no action, and I prove to you that if I say I'm gonna do something, it's gonna get done.
Okay, so listen, there's no beef here. I mean, I'm a big fan of Charlie. The only problem I had is, what is Litecoin? Is it a store of value or is it money? Help me understand.
It's a store of value and a means of exchange, MOE. Let me tell you why. I have Bitcoin, bro. I love Bitcoin. Bitcoin is king, will always be king. Anybody who talks bad about Bitcoin, they're a shiller or they just need to get their ass kicked. You have respect to the name Bitcoin, okay? Now, Bitcoin is so valuable, okay? I don't even think about spending it, okay? As it keeps going up, I believe Bitcoin, quote me on this, is gonna go 250K this year. Litecoin, 3K, okay? Check this out. The more Bitcoin goes up, and psychologically, you can't spend it. You can't spend it. It becomes too valuable as a store of value, right? And then people are gonna look to the next thing. You know what the next thing is? That's gonna provide you security, right? I'll be 100% transparent. You give me any coin, and I'll bet you, if you wanna send $10 million, okay, you will not use a shit coin. You know what you would use? You use Bitcoin, and you will use Litecoin next. Why? Zero downtime, and security hash rate is top at the script algorithm, okay? Me personally, if I wanted to send somebody $10 million to my people in South Korea, okay, I would not use any other blockchain other than Bitcoin first and then Litecoin, okay? And that's the world people are gonna come into. As all this shit coinery goes away, when all these promises made and it never becomes fulfilled, they're gonna go back to the tried and true time-tested blockchain, which is Bitcoin, Litecoin, boom, bang, boom. What's up, baby?
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna admit it. I am changing my views. And even though up until now, I've always been skeptical about whether Litecoin has a use case, I'm gonna say now that you've actually convinced me. You've convinced me that Litecoin actually does have a use case. And I wanna make sure that I really understand it. So there are other peer-to-peer electronic cash systems. We know Bitcoin is not one of them because Bitcoin is too slow and because Bitcoin is too valuable. And it's too valuable because the blocks are so slow, which makes it much more scarce. But if you weigh up fundamentals, so in other words, security, and at the same time weigh up speed, and you're looking for something that is not the fastest and not the most secure, but also but secure enough and fast enough, then you think, or you're saying that Litecoin is probably your best option out there. You're saying that there may be other cryptos that can do payments in a fraction of a second, but they're probably a bit more centralized and probably not as secure because of their mining algorithms. Have I got it?
Yes, but here's another thing. Blockchain, as designed, is very inefficient. Blockchain is not supposed to be super fast if it's decentralized, because you got computers around the world verifying transactions, Okay, so everybody who wants to use the word blockchain and listen, blockchain is inefficient by design, and the only way from the beginning, these coders, okay, knew the second layer solution is the only solution, because you keep the security intact and you send money with the second layer solution. And there's only 2 coins on the Lightning Network.
Litecoin?
Bitcoin, Litecoin. Okay.
All right. I'm convinced. You got me. You sold me.
Hold on. I got one more thing for you viewers. You guys ready? All right. Last year, I predicted PayPal releasing Litecoin 1 week before they announced. Okay. And it went from 50 to 150. Okay. And I said Venmo, 70 million users. You know what the age range of Venmo users, 70 million? From 18 to 30. And guess what? In America, average people doesn't even have $500 in their bank account, okay? Look at the price point, bro. How much is Litecoin right now? Listen, 70 million people are gonna come into Venmo, look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and right away, they're so new, they don't even know they can buy a fraction of Bitcoin. They're gonna look at 58,000, they're gonna say, whoa, that's too expensive. They're gonna look at Ethereum 4,000, whoa, I can't afford that. They're gonna look at Bitcoin Cash, oh, 1,500. They're gonna look at Litecoin and say, you know what? I don't want to own 0.0001 of anything. Let me buy a couple of Litecoin, sit on it. Could be the next Bitcoin. And that's why 70 million users who are exposed to Litecoin are gonna buy it. And with you saw the chart, the miners know it, the traders know it, and now 70 million users on Venmo know it. So when we go parabolic, you bring me back on here just to say, I told you, mofos, and I'll leave.
I'm gonna do one better for you. And I'm gonna tomorrow, if the guys here on the show don't front run me, because my community keep front running me, you've convinced me to buy Litecoin. So between the charts of what Sheldon's saying and between what you're saying, I'm gonna take a Litecoin position, because
boom,
I must say, I think you gotta have an open mind. And I know a lot, but sometimes I don't know everything. And up until now, I've always said I'm not sure of the use case of Litecoin, but you convinced me, bro. You convinced me that there is actually a big market for Litecoin, and I'm going to have a much more open mind about Litecoin going forward, brother.
I got 2 more for you, Ron. You ready?
Okay, but quick, because I got another guest that's coming on. In fact, I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to bring him on, and he can listen to this. His name is Big Cheds. You all know him. He's a very big friend of the channel. He never exposes his identity.
Okay. But what's up, baby?
Hold on.
All right, I'm going to make my point, and I'm going to go. Okay, you guys ready?
Johnny, one sec before. Cheds, would you buy Litecoin?
I mean, yeah, it's got momentum. I'll play anything that's an uptrend, that's liquid, that has kind of enough liquidity and volatility. Anything like Litecoin, that's an uptrend. I want to target a dip in that. That's something I want to be playing. It has relative strength. So yes.
Wow. Okay. Tell me your 2 more things, Johnny.
All right, so we have 27 million merchants accepting Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash on PayPal, okay? They're rolling it out slowly worldwide as we speak, okay? That's 27 million merchants, okay? That's 346 million users on PayPal and 70 million users on Venmo, which PayPal owns. We're looking at a 500 million, okay? If you don't see where this is going, and most of that, 90% are going to be noobs that are only going to look at price point. Now, Charlie Lee told me one time, John, every 4 years, Bitcoin, Litecoin, 10x's. Do you know why?
Because of the halving.
It's built in, baby. You can talk all your crap, not you, Ron, all these trolls talking about you. This is the future. Listen, Bitcoin and Litecoin is identical. And it did not steal the name like Bitcoin Cash did. It has its own identity, and it's the king of script and king of SHA-256. Now, every 4 years, there's this halving. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter about John Kim, the evangelist's opinion. Every 4 years, it 10x's, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's written in the code. Boom.
Bro, you sold me. You sold me. I'm sold. I'm sold. Community, 17,500 people that are watching you live. Where Fred says he's buying. I mean, Fred's sitting at 8 feet.
Ren, I've been telling you the charts have been looking amazing for the last month.
And plus, they have the sexiest and the strongest and the best looking Asian evangelist in the world. that works for Litecoin for free. Let's go.
My man. Johnny, thank you, brother, man. I know I can always count on you for this shit. So thank you, brother. Thank you. You've really changed my view. And I'm not embarrassed to say it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not ashamed.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Sheldino, thank you, my brother. I've got big Cheds.
Always,
which I think
always.
As good as you are as charting, Cheds is a chart master himself. In fact, Cheds, how are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Life is good. You know, we got some warm weather coming up. Sheldon, I like your work, so keep it up, brother.
I appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it.
Before I get into a book, and I do want to talk about your book, tell me, are you watching the charts? What are you calling? What's happening on your charts?
Yeah, I mean, we were just listening to Litecoin. That's really interesting. You know, Litecoin, you have to zoom out to a weekly chart when you have something that strong and you break a resistance. And you see just this last week, we broke that April 12th high, right at 335. You immediately zoom out, you start looking at 380. We've already hit that and challenged that. Now it's at 420 level. So I'm enjoying the stage where you can zoom out and look at a weekly chart. With Ethereum, we're in price discovery. We don't really have any resistance. Bitcoin is back up above that key level, that 8-period exponential moving average. So for me with Bitcoin, you want to watch the 8-period EMA and the weekly. You want to watch that daily 50-period simple moving average. We're kind of hanging around there, trying to get back up above it. And for traders, really that short-term 4-hour 200-period moving average. We're doing that throwback or that bullish retest right now. So I think bulls have improved things slightly, but they're still a little bit vulnerable as we're heading right back up and kind of testing those recent highs. Something I talked about last night in my Bitcoin live videos. We'd initially established that resistance right around 62K ran. When we broke up above it and came back down, that's now a bull trap. It's an up thrust, just above that level. So we have to be careful as the price comes back up and prepares to kind of retest that level. You want to be cautious as we're kind of getting back up to that level. So those are kind of my thoughts on what we think is going on with Bitcoin right now. But Ethereum is amazing. There's a lot of other alts you can talk about, like Sol and some of these other projects. It's a great market. Okay. People are making money,
Cheds, if you had $10,000 today, and just based on the charts, you could put the money into one token.
Like this moment, this second?
This moment, the second, and you can hold it for a month. What are you buying?
What am I buying? Hold it for a month. I'm risk averse. I go with Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin, like Ethereum. I like Link as well. Those are ones I'm holding long term. I'd probably pick one of those three just because I'm a little more risk adverse. If I was a little bit more not risk averse, maybe I would go for like Uni. Uni's been unstoppable. It's been rallying off the MA50. It's been stair stepping. We've talked about it on this show where we've established resistance. It's used it as support. So something like that, Uni, maybe if I was looking for a little more risk.
Okay, amazing. Cheds, I want to talk about this book that you published. So Cheds is a master chartist. And just so that you guys know, Cheds is a friend. I met Cheds in 2017 on my CNBC show where I'm convinced him to come on. At the time, he was suffering with cancer. And he's a cancer survivor. He's clean, he's in remission, and he has now written a book. Tell us about the book, brother man.
I'm excited. So most of you know me through Twitter, and I kind of built my brand on helping new traders avoiding my old mistakes. And that's what I've been doing. It's a lot about trading psychology, risk management, and the basics of TA. I am a CMT level 1. I'm well-versed in Japanese candlesticks and classical charting, but a lot of it is your own emotions. So it's mastering your own emotions. It's understanding the psychology of the market, how people are panic, and how you should learn how to buy the fear, how you should learn how to love red candles as a bull, stuff like that, managing your bankroll. I'm very, very proud of this title. The artist, his name is World of Rusty. He did a fantastic job. It's easy to read, and the one thing people have said, they can relate to it because I've made all these mistakes. I've been wrecked. I've destroyed my bank account, my trading account, 5, 6, 7 times, and I'm still here. So I try to teach people to trade, to survive, and to kind of stay in the game, and I love it. I love doing it. So thank you for letting me talk about that.
Amazing, brother. Cheds, it's so good to see you, my man. It's so good to see you healthy, and so good to have you back on the show. We haven't had you for a while. If people want to buy the book, where do we buy it? Do we buy it on Amazon? Is it a Kindle? What is it?
Yeah, it's both. You go right to Amazon. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. It's my pinned tweet, but you just type in the words Trading Wisdom in Amazon. You type in Trading Wisdom into Google. I think it's the third link. It's the Kindle version and the paperback as well.
Okay.
Yeah, folks. hit that like button too, hit that thumbs up for Crypto Banter. They don't have to put in this work. They're putting this content for you. Always support these channels if you like what you see.
Cheds, give me like one of the biggest crypto wisdoms that I'll find in the book. Like one of the things where you go like, bang, this is like a massive crypto wisdom, and you'll find it in the book.
So that's a good point. I would say that you want to don't marry your bags, right? Like if you have a trade and the trade doesn't work out, it doesn't mean you have to sit there and try to fix that trade for the next 3 weeks. You can cut it. You have to define your risk. You set your level at which your trade idea fails and you stick to that, because if you don't define your risk, that risk is going to define you, right? So you make an error in that play, you lose money, you cut it, you move away, right? Don't play it again. Don't marry your bags. Don't be attached. Be a surgeon, be methodological, risk small amounts until you feel more comfortable. All of those things will help you out.
Okay, one more. Come on, Cheds. I'm loving this. The comments and the likes shot up when you said that. So don't marry your bags. Fred married Trias. Trias paid off for Fred. You're selling some Trias, bro.
You got to stick with what works, Rand. You got to stick with what works. So you want to add to your winners and cut your losers. You can add to your winners because you've already correctly identified the momentum. And in addition, on any chart, you want to identify levels at which you think the momentum will improve. So if you're already long and you pick the right spot and then you make another bull break, that's when you can add to that trade at a certain level. So identify levels that you would average up into a correct winning trade and make sure to cut your losers. You got to cut them. The trade failed, move on, add to your winners, ride the momentum, play that relative strength, target dips and uptrends, be a patient buyer, be a cheap buyer. If you think you missed something, you can wait. Like Ethereum went like 2,500 to 1950. And if you thought you missed it, you put that low ball bid in, you filled at 1950. Now we're at 4,000. All these cryptos have big flush outs. Be a cheap buyer, be really thrifty, set your bids low, and you'll set yourself up for success.
All right, brother, man. Listen, you are part of the Banter family, so thank you, my man. Always good to have a family member. Get Cheds' book called Trading Wisdom. You can get it on Amazon, on Kindle. It's obviously is it available in audiobook yet, Cheds?
I'm working on the Audible right now.
Amazing. Cheds, my brother, thank you so much, my friend. So good to see you.
Thank you very much.
That was Cheds. We haven't seen Cheds for a while. We love the guy. We haven't seen him for a while. Guys, 242,100 and whoa.
It's moving. Go, baby, go.
Whoa. 242,000. 200.
I'm sure we can do this by tomorrow, Ren. I'm sure it can happen.
Yeah, guys, stop subscribing just for 1 second, just so I can read out the number. 242,000. 242,422 members of our community. Tomorrow, when we get to 250,000, we have to give away 2 more Banter bags. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, where I'm going to tell you why I think Ethereum can flip in Bitcoin. And I'm going to introduce you, or not introduce you, I'm going to show you an ecosystem that you need to be getting into. And then whatever else happens tomorrow. So, guys, much love for you, our community, from Sheldon and I. We'll see you again tomorrow, 6 a.m. EST, and again at 10 a.m. EST. And big love to Fred, who we don't mention enough on the show. But, we kind of want to put your photo up here, bro. But, you won't let us. Fred won't let us reveal your ears. So, guys, big love to you. Big love to Fred. Big love to our whole community. We'll see you again tomorrow, 6 a.m. EST, and then again at 10 a.m. EST. Until then, trade well, my friends. Bring home the bacon. Show the market what the Crypto Banter community can do.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.